Okay, so if you have an Android phone and it started acting up, first thing to do is to close all apps. Click the square button. Any apps here, you can just click the clear all button on the top, closing all, and then turn off the phone and turn it back on. That's the very first thing to do. Anytime you're having any issue with electronics, even just a toaster, if it's giving you a problem, turn it off and turn it back on. Unplug it, whatever. So once it boots back up, let's go to settings. And there's a lot of phones, we're going to scroll down to storage, but a lot of phones will also have a smart cleaning option. I'm just going to show you that real quick. If you have a smart cleaning option, it makes it really easy because it's going to look at the idle apps that you haven't used in a while, which some of them might be important to you. The stuff in your download folder, I would avoid that because there's probably stuff in there that you actually want, you just haven't moved yet. And temporary RAW files. Now the temporary RAW files, we're going to go ahead and go in there. Now we've got three choices. Apps cache, which is pretty much harmless. By clearing the cache, some apps may require you to log back in. Most of them won't even change that much, but the very next time that you run that app, it's just going to act a little bit slower until it catches back up. The clip tray temporary files, almost always that's safe to clear. And the raw files from the camera, if you are using the setting where it not just saves as JPEGs, but also saves as RAW, that's what that would be. So I can clear 2.26 gigabytes of cache just by clicking delete right now. Well, I don't need to do that on my phone, but that's what you would do. So we're going to back out of here. Idle apps. Now it's sorting it in how much space it's taking up and like apps that I haven't used in a while. But the thing is, I use Street View, just not directly. I use it as like a share to or a pull from thing. So it's not recognizing that correctly, but no big deal. You can uncheck the ones you don't want to uninstall and then click delete, and that's the quickest way of getting rid of all the apps that you haven't really used in a while. So backing out of smart cleaning, we're going to go into storage now. Never mind the SD card, because unless you have apps installed on the SD card, none of the symptoms you're experiencing are from the free space of the SD card. So we're going to look at internal storage. And when you click on internal storage, it actually breaks down what the usages are. It doesn't do that for the SD card. It just shows you the file structure. So I've got 11.5 gigabytes of free space. I'm fine. I think I already mentioned this, but most Androids, when they get down to 1 gigabyte of free space or less, that's when they start acting up. The newer ones, like Android 7, Nougat, and newer, kind of want 2 gigabytes because they're expecting like 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM, and so their page file is bigger, whatever. Okay, so the very first thing we can do is we can scroll down to cached data at the very bottom here, 2.26 gigabytes. Now that's the same idea of what the other thing was showing in smart cleaning. So if you don't have smart cleaning, this is the way to do that. Again, it's pretty safe to do this. The worst case scenario, you would have to log back into whatever apps. Most apps won't make you do that. So once you've done that, you can go to apps. It will show you all of the apps that you've installed after the phone was new. So not the ones that came with the phone, unless you click on the overflow button here and they do show system. Believe you me, there's no reason to show system right now. That's dangerous. Don't do that. So as we can see, the gallery is taking up 1.5 gigabytes. That's the biggest thing on there. Now on my internal memory, that's probably all of my images and videos. I'm not going to clear the data because that could clear my images and video. But what I can clear, but I don't want to, is the 270 megabytes of cache down here. That would just be like thumbnail data and a few other things. That's it. So it wouldn't actually affect what's stored on my phone. It would just affect the next time that I run the app. Coming down to a video game like Life is Strange. Now, a moment ago, this actually had data and cache on here, and I cleared it. That video didn't go the way that I expected it to, so I started a new video. When you clear the cache, it's pretty harmless. When you clear the data, it clears the cache, but it also clears the stored data, including your saved game. In a lot of video games, their saved game is just on the phone. So if you clear the data, there goes your saved game. If it's an online game of any kind, chances are it's not going to affect the save game. You're just going to have to log in again. If you clear the data of any app, expect to have to log in again because it's as if you just installed the app. So that's the app section. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to go through right now. So as long as you get to 1 or 2 gigabytes of free space or more, then your issue is no longer free space related. And if you still have issues, let me know.